Thank you for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Osubakun. Today on the Hangout, Aisha Buhari says there's no single syringe and other facilities in the Villa Clinic. And later in the program, groups issue Inspector General Police 5 days ultimatum to resign over allegation of corruption. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Lekon Shote, and Wadili Adedayo. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us again. President Muhammadu Buhari's wife, Aisha Buhari, is a woman of few words, but each time she speaks, she breaks the ice. Her remarks usually enjoy a free ride to newspaper front pages. On Monday, she said despite the billions allocated to the clinic in the villa in the 2016 and the 2017 budgets, the clinic cannot still provide basic services. She said not a single syringe is available there. Last week, one of the president's daughters, Zara Buhari, took her frustration to Instagram, lamenting the poor state of the clinic and called for a probe of funds allocated to it. What is happening here? Babajide, we know that our regular general hospital, College of Medicine, teaching hospitals and everything, we know the state of dilapidation. And we didn't expect, we were thinking that when it comes to Aso Rock, that everything inside that rock will be so rosy and everything, the facility, everything will be in place. But if, as of 2016, a sum of 3 billion naira was set to, you know, is it 2015 or 2016? I mean 2016 or 2017, allocated to that hospital in terms of funding and everything. And we're talking about just syringe. Is this not scandalous? What's happening here?
For the past 5 years, we've been allocating billions to the state hospital, the state house clinic. And the president's wife merely wanted to take an X-ray because she was not feeling fine. And she felt, she was told to travel abroad. She said she wanted to seek medical attention here in Nigeria.
So she decided to go to the state house?
Yeah, she needed to now take an X-ray. And they told her that she could not take an X-ray.
X-ray?
Yes, just an X-ray. Just an X-ray. You can't, you have a state house hospital that gets allocated billions of naira every year, and you cannot take an X-ray. An X-ray that a backstreet hospital here in Ketu will be able to give you. So that should tell you that we are in trouble.
Who did this
the presidents, we are in serious trouble. Well, thank God you will be able to explain to us why you think we are not in trouble. Because things are rosy for you. The thing is, if the presidents, that clinic is meant for the first family, and you want to think that what is best is what is reserved for the first family. Now, if the president in his position cannot get the best health care for himself, how can he guarantee good medical care for the rest of us? So we found ourselves in a bind. Civil servants, the Nigerian civil servants are, in my view, the most corrupt in the world. And the system has allowed them to enrich themselves to the detriment of the rest of us. So if every year we allocate billions of naira to the hospital meant for the first family, and the president's wife can't take an X-ray in that hospital. The president's wife says, oh, they are just expanding the hospital, putting bricks on top of one another, but that all the renovation work that they are doing is useless if the hospital cannot save lives. So where are we going from here? who has been taking all the money allocated to that hospital for years. We have a system, because even when I read my county Baru's press release,
Okay, yesterday.
there are some Nigerians who apparently want to oil their shackles are jubilating about. I see why we are in this problem. Civil servants are in charge of procurement in the ministries. They are the ones in charge of tender. The minister has nothing to do about tender. The tenders board itself is constituted by civil servants. So at the end of the day, the PAMSECs, the rogue PAMSECs that litter the federal landscape, they are the ones who determine what gets spent on this and that. So at the end of the day, if a budget fails, I mean, if a project fails, go and ask the PAMSEC. And a gentleman wanted a reform of this civil service that is known for monumental corruption. This same civil service where we have more than 5,000 agencies doing literally the same thing. We didn't think that we should do anything about Ron Saye's report. Even after FEC approved it, civil servants are fighting tooth and nail and ensuring that it is not implemented. We put our lives in the hands of extremely corrupt civil servants, and this is what they are doing to us. You know, I said it when Buhari came up with his first budget and some Nigerians were jubilating. I said, see, his first budget will be the first test of Buhari's anti-corruption war. And I said it that they were going to pad that budget. You know, the president had so much trust in civil servants. They said, oh, PAMSECs, they can run the ministries. When his budget was padded, you have a situation, they were, in Buhari's budget, rent, money was set aside for rent in Aso Rock.
To pay for Aso Rock.
Rent in Aso Rock. In President Buhari's budget, the Ministry of Interior had money allocated to it to build bridges. Meanwhile, it's not their responsibility. In that budget that the ministers that our president was praising to high heavens put together, there were so many duplications. You have this being done in the health ministry, another ministry, the same thing will be listed. Because at the end of the day, the civil servants will be able to come together to ensure that that money gets released. When that money gets released, they line their pockets with it. And the rest of us will now be complaining that, oh,
is the politicians
Wale, I want to ask you that, look, there's I hear of budget implementation monitoring team, and shouldn't those people that are meant to monitor this particular
the Aso Rock clinic you are talking
yes.
about. No,
shouldn't they go to jail?
For me, I don't. That's why I said that there is no problem. We are not in any trouble. The reality is that I've said it from the one. I think it's not even up to 3 months before Buhari became an elected president. I wrote on my Facebook wall then that I don't think the man can do anything till he leaves office. And my reason at that time was very simple. If you cast your mind back, when Obasanjo became president in 1999, an elected president, he did something unprecedented. Between 1976 and 1999, he constituted a committee, SSS, NIA, all the intelligence agencies in Nigeria. Every federal government contract awarded, whether completed or not completed, they were to look into it. A report was submitted to the Federal Executive Council, a white paper was issued in 2 volumes. And there were recommendations. I don't want to mention it, but there's a serving governor in Nigeria today who's not supposed to hold public office for the rest of his life. His name is there. There's hardly any big name. The original copy of the 2 volumes, I was at the Punch then. We used some of the stories. But at the point, I had to go and deposit the thing with our legal advisor. I just dropped it there with them. It's like, I mean, you're carrying a bomb all over the place with you. So the thing is, if you want to start, it's not a question of 2 years, 3 years. You are shouting anti-corruption. It's not something you do on the pages of newspaper now. If you are really serious about it, for God's sake, Obasanjo, who gave you FCC? It was Obasanjo now. That's evidence of preparation, evidence of being prepared, evidence of knowing what you want to do. He gave you ICPC. All those things were there. Fine. He may not have done too well, but for God's sake, he's done his own bit. People want to start from where he stopped. On this Aso Rock, whatever you are talking about, to me, that should have been clear from day one. That something are not okay. If you are really on seat, if you are really there to do the job. It's not a question of punishing one or two, because like you rightly said, is it just the Aso Rock clinic you are talking about?
Now, if Aso Rock clinic is like that,
no,
what will happen?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's not a question of just Aso Rock clinic now. There are so many things. Recently, you covered Boko Haram. I saw one or two of your distance there when you went for Boko Haram. As recently as this year, some soldiers were still shouting about their money being chopped by their superior officers. And the president and chief of defense staff or whoever still have to be looking into that. That means that some things are still fundamentally wrong, which efforts have not been seriously put into place. So check. So that's why I said it's not a question of we are in trouble. We've always been in trouble, so we are used to it.
Right now, if the president is moving now,
if we've always been in trouble, then we are in trouble.
Honestly,
we are used
to
it.
all together now because.
I mean, we remain in it.
Exactly now.
That will be the trouble. So that the status quo remains.
Exactly.
Status quo.
If we have a situation like this, now somebody is saying Mrs. Buhari should not join the saturated number of whalers, that they have enough whalers, that she should, that she has the ears of her husband, that something must be done, something should be done, and somebody must be held responsible. At least from 2015, that been getting that budget. Is it that 3 billion naira was allocated for that hospital? Has it been released?
3.2 billion.
Was it released last year? Was it released in 2015? How much have they spent on that hospital so far to make it as poor as not having a syringe?
First, I'm very happy that we have, if you like to call her, an activist first lady. I'm very happy that we have somebody like that, and who will look
always
out,
courageous,
always
bold,
courageous,
speak the truth,
speak to
ruffle
them.
feathers.
Everything she said, are they not coming to pass now?
And that is impressive. I'm very happy for that. She has vacated the other room and she has come to the front room.
Yeah, so effectively she has vacated the other room.
In front of the building.
Yes.
She's not in the other room at all.
Now, a hospital functions on 3 bases: facilities or equipment, the personnel, the doctors, the nurses, and the rest of them, as well as consumables, drugs, syringes, and so on. I was a government accountant. This envelope budgeting is still happening, just as they have just said. People are simply asking themselves, how much did we spend last year? Okay, add so much to it. Though they did the reverse this time, 3.8 last year, 3.2 this year, billion this year. But what they just do is just...
They consider that there is a recession.
Or
so
something,
what they are meant to steal should reduce. That should happen.
So they just send the thing, and then they send you what they call AIE from your headquarters or the presidency or the central bank. It will say, go to central bank. We have sent X amount of money to your account at the central bank. So then they tell you the vote. So much is for salaries. So much is for stationaries. So much is for fueling of your vehicles. So much. When I have seen this several times as a civil servant, what I wrote to my headquarters as the need of my branch of the ministry, they never send me what I have asked for. Not even if you will reduce it, how about the proportion that I sent you the thing? They vary it, So I said they are just working with this envelope thing. It is not on a needs basis, which some people have called zero-based budgeting. What it means is that you make a case for every money that you want to spend. So they just send the money there. And what happens is that at the end of the day, I wrote a paper, a journal article for an academic journal. And I found out, I did a study for the past 10 years or 15 years, the medical budget of this country. We are spending less than 4.13% every year. Consistently for the past 15 years, 4.13% or 4.5%. So when it's high, 4.7%. For the past 15 years, I did 15 years comparative studies. Now, what you find out is that the budget goes to salaries, LT&T, which is a basket omnibus vote head. LT&T, local transfer, then there's O&G, office and general. Anything goes into that O&G. And then seminars, workshops, trainings. And that is how the money goes. The consumables that you need to run the clinic, syringe, how much is one syringe? And you know, I want to even correct an impression. Look, it is not just the first family that uses that. There are 13 or so agencies within the presidency.
I didn't say the first family. I said a clinic that is to serve the first family.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
because they can't be that big and it will be for the first family.
All those people.
That's not what I said.
What it means that if the first lady cannot, it means the messenger in the AFCC, in the office of the NSA, cannot even get. Look, last year, 2016, there was this scandal that there was no drugs in that same clinic. If you remember, I remember some middle of last year, we are running a system that, apart from being corrupt,
let's say August 2016,
something like that. Yes, I remember a system that, one, apart from being corrupt, is an inefficient management system. And as Jide says, that Orosai, if you read that document, you know that the man got sent. But they will never, that thing will never, nobody will ever implement it.
It was implicated.
They will not, they even put him in trouble. You know, so that thing will never be implemented as long as these civil servants are the ones that will even determine the agenda for the fake meeting.
All right. We'll take this breather. When we come back, we're still on the clinic in the villa. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us back. And Babajide, this administration claims that they're fighting corruption.
Yes.
And I don't want us, we've left the blame game, as in it's not possible to blame Jonathan for this now. We've been allocating from 2015 till this time. Is it that corruption is on the increase? What is happening?
I have tremendous respect for the president. He remains someone that I respect, and I will continue to respect him. But unfortunately, many of the people around him do not share his passion for our country. They do not even believe in his anti-corruption war. And the civil servants are doing their utmost to frustrate the president and ensure that his goal of reducing corruption, because he can't defeat corruption, let's just tell ourselves the truth. The president can only try. We can't defeat corruption at this stage.
Not in this lifetime.
Not our generation, we can't defeat corruption.
It's almost impossible.
The president will only try his best. Even a lot of us have given up. A friend of mine called, he said, if we lose this opportunity, because we have a symbol of resistance to corruption, who is also globally respected. We have that man, that if we lose that opportunity to use his time to at least reduce corruption by 50%, that we are in trouble. And we are seeing signs. We are seeing signs that the anti-corruption war is being fought, but not fought with the required energy, because there are still so many areas that need to be touched that we are not touching. This anti-corruption war is not the EFCC that we need to win it.
I'm telling you.
Everyone must be involved.
Must key into it.
There's a friend of mine. I'm not going to say there's a PAMSEC or this thing. It's very high in the Federal Civil Service. So I was discussing, I said, it's very good. This Ilorin judge, that the committee that they've given him, Justice Salami. I said, all of you, the senior people in the civil service who are stealing our nation blind, they begin to catch you one by one. So he looked at me, he said, will they also focus on the anti-corruption agencies? He said, because once they are bribed, that's the end. You know, I was shocked because I didn't expect that. I expected him to be on the defensive, trying to defend his people. But he said, will that committee also focus on the anti-corruption agencies? And he went on to say, see, some of the most lucrative but sleaze-prone agencies in Nigeria that you don't get to hear EFCC go to those places. Sometimes they pick up someone after a day he's been released. Go to the aviation sector, pick someone after a day, all kinds of calls. They will be getting all kinds of calls from left and right. They will let the person go. They won't go back to the matter. Is that how we can win
the war against corruption?
It's just frustrating. We have an old man who wants to fight corruption, but you can see that as much as he's determined, it takes more than determination to defeat corruption. Corruption, we must start from the civil service. You heard what happened. Palm sex were bribing. People were bribing to become palm sex. When they've stolen us blind, the money that they've stolen in the federal civil service, they will now be bribing their bosses so that they can be made palm sex. That is what is happening. People are going through a lot. They will suffer. The wages may not be enough, but they want to hang on. Yeah. Because they know that they will get there. So once they get there, they become palm sex. Oh, look at the powers that we are giving. We are giving palm sex. They are sitting on top of those ministries, tender everything. Even the ministers. The ministers have no hand in this issue. That's why when you read that report by Baru, did you not ask yourself how we could sit up as people know what they are doing and give one man so much powers that he can decide and be awarding contracts to the tune of billions of dollars? The minister can't even get involved. The board shouldn't even get involved. So what is the essence of the board? That means we are not ready to defeat corruption because nothing tempts like money. So if you give a man that much power, won't he use it to his own advantage? That's what we are talking about. What is stopping us from implementing Oronsaye's report? The palm sex, the big civil servants who wanted to send Oronsaye to jail, they have failed because the judge said this man has done nothing wrong. And I said it a long time ago that they merely framed him because they didn't like what he came up with. We are in serious trouble. The current Minister of Health went to Gusau, the Federal Medical Center in Gusau. He discovered about 120 doctors in the employment of Federal Medical Center Gusau alone. Whereas all the doctors in the Zamfara health ministry, they are not even up to 25. So how did just one, and it's not as if you even go there and find people working. So the civil service in Nigeria is extremely dysfunctional.
Let me quickly take Augustine. Augustine is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Augustine. Hello, Augustine.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you, sir.
All right, go ahead.
This is my first time calling.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Please, concerning what people are discussing today, I'm very happy about it. The problem which you ask is that after the budget, did they release the money? Because the First Lady may not know what is happening. She may not know whether the money was actually released or not. You understand? Our problem is that we don't know whether if actually the money was released. And I see some people writing on the screen that this is corruption fighting back. Does this mean that corruption is fighting back? This doesn't mean that corruption is fighting back. These are the same people being corrupt. Corruption is not fighting back anything. The same people are empowered, so they are corrupt. But the problem to ask in this fact is that did they actually release the money, or is it just on paper?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Augustine.
The First Lady, or the wife of the president, as she prefers to be called, saw them carrying out construction work on that hospital. So you cannot even say that money was not released. Because they are expanding the hospital, they are putting up structures. The first lady admitted to that, look, all these new structures you are putting in this health facility will amount to nothing because you don't have drugs. So it's not a question of not releasing money to them. Then we are saying that in the last 5 years, billions have been voted to that health facility. So are you saying that in 5 years, no monies were released? So the civil servants have perfected a system whereby money doesn't get released until towards the end of the year. Remember the Grange affair. So at the end of the year, the money will be released. They will now share amongst themselves. You know, they told the minister that, look, this is what we do. We don't return unspent budget funds. We don't return to the national treasury. We share amongst ourselves. You know, so this is what is happening.
All right, coming up on Journalist Hangouts, groups want Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris to resign over corruption allegations. Details after this time. Welcome back. We have to round off on this Wale. So, moving forward, this Aso Rock clinic. Now, Madam has spoken. Not tomorrow, another thing will make headline. You know, Nigeria, there's a way we use, we forget things. No, how do we follow up with this to ensure that something is done about that clinic and every other hospitals around the country?
My brother, me personally, with due respect, I'm not too bothered about the Aso Rock clinic thing. I think our advice should go to the ruling party and the current administration because, like I said earlier, it goes beyond the Aso Rock clinic. The major plank on which the administration came on board was anti-corruption. For God's sake, if you want to fight corruption, fight corruption. It's not just a question of mounting platitudes about the anti-corruption fight. Scapegoats, civil servants are corrupt, politicians are corrupt, journalists are corrupt, judges are corrupt. But for God's sake, by the time you take on 1, 2, 3 big fishes, there are more than enough reports on the ground already to deal with so many people. You just need to pick a few people and roll them in. See, at some point, maybe for some of us, you might say due process this, due process that, or whatever. At some point, there are some extraordinary measures you need to take to tell people that no, enough is enough. We're not going to take this anymore. So by the time you deal with some people, others will take a cue from that, and they will start doing the right thing. So that's why I said it goes beyond the Aso Rock clinic thing. Because, I mean, I don't know if it was a football competition or something like that. They went to the jersey or whatever they were going to use in that country. They don't even follow the analysts there.
Okay, look on a final note on this now. When you look at if we have to do this now, and a lot of people will say we are fighting this corruption fight, and the message in our health centers, primary health centers and everything, and Nigerians, medical tourism is still, you know, something that still takes a large chunk of our foreign exchange.
Right. It will always be that, like that.
Because Mrs. Buhari might end up going to London.
See, my bigger worry is this. If the elites in this country don't take care, if the first lady and the first daughter are the ones complaining like this, those who don't have voices, they might resort to violence. It is in the interest of Mr. President and the entire ruling class, the political elite, to do something very, very quickly about this corruption thing. The President has himself said, if we don't defeat corruption
will kill us.
He has a job to do. It's better for him to start working on it.
Jide, your final take on this?
I think that for me, I want to start seeing people being put behind bars. I want the president to make an example out of even some of the people around him that are corrupt. People can't be complaining about some of the president's friends who are corrupt, and then we don't see action being taken. So I want examples made out of people. The president punished 22 individuals over the budget padding that happened with his first budget. But what did we see? They were transferred from budget office to somewhere else. That is not the sort of punishment that I want to see. I want to see them jailed. I want to see them shamed. I want to see
named
and shamed. I want to see them punished in the real sense of the word. Not that we'll hear that, okay, they've been transferred to somewhere. Because the president will have used that opportunity to show clearly that it means business.
Exactly.
But after that slap in the wrist treatment, some people have been carrying on as if Nigeria is there for them to take. No, this has to stop. The nonsense has to stop.
All right, moving on now. Senator representing Bauchi Central, Aisha Hama Misao, is fast becoming the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris' biggest nightmare. It is possible to pretend that neither of these men is not out to get a pound of flesh for whatever might have happened in their past. But episodes unfolding in the past week have been quite disgusting. The police shamelessly accused the senator of not following due process in retiring, but Misao did a great job at putting the force below integrity curve in the court of public opinion. Misao accuses the IG of pocketing 10 billion naira monthly for providing police protection to companies and private individuals and taking bribe to promote and deploy officers. In fact, he accuses him of using his office to satisfy his lecherous tendencies. A civil society group is demanding the IG's resignation in 5 working days, or it will stage protests. Why is the IG silent about these allegations? Is the hunter feeling haunted already? What is going on here? Well, let me start from you.
See, this is the post I raised. Why is the IG? If I'm his PR person, I'll just tell him to ignore. I won't advise him to respond to anything about this.
The Senator of the Federal Republic have made that kind of allegation?
Yes.
And you tell him to keep quiet?
Yes, I mean, because sometimes there are some big lies, in quote, that by the time you react to them, you are giving them
validation.
Exactly. So the fact is that you need to, I don't think it was the police that accused the senator in the first place. A petition came to the police and the IG was investigating the petition. Don't forget, the guy was, the senator was a DSP, and I think the father was an AIG or DIG. And don't forget, he served 8 years, I mean, with politics. I think somebody, maybe FCT minister or whatever, he was ADC there for 8 years, so he knows the political system, he knows how to package things. Exactly, so to say. So this question of 10 billion for one individual IG, that means the current IG is even superior to Tafa Balogun and all the especially
all the IGs before him.
Exactly, 10 billion monthly. What is the total budget of the police?
That man was very rich now.
Now, they say he collects money from oil companies and others. I mean, senators have police guards, House of Reps members have police guards. So how much do they pay to the IG to give them
The police
to give them? I think I read something on Facebook too. Maybe a few days ago, 2-3 days ago, the police division in the National Assembly has been shut down on the instruction of the National Assembly leadership. Maybe the DPO there was changed or something like that. And I think I did something on Twitter. You shut down police station there. To me, the IG itself, the man get as left to me. Okay, all our men out of the place. All the police escorts you have, I will personally, I will return all of them for God's sake. So for me, there's no big deal in this. Talking about having relationship with women, I'm not a saint myself, and I'm sure the senator himself. I don't know if he's a member of Deeper Life MFM, you know, where you are not. I mean, I don't even want to talk about that. But this talk of 10 billion monthly and all that, I think it's just a desperate. Yeah, there's something I even remember now. I think it should be about, is it March or April? There was a bill, early this year, there was a bill in the National Assembly pushed by the same senator to whittle down the powers of the Code of Conduct Tribunal. You know, there's the Code of Conduct Tribunal thing, and some lawyers seriously oppose that thing. In a way, you might have had some things with the IG in the past, but beyond that also, I think there's something between the presidency and the National Assembly on this, and the police might have fallen into some kind of yes, based on this one.
To freshen your memory, let me just plea, this the allegation made by Senator Misau?
More than 50,000 to 100,000 people right now, policemen are serving in oil companies, oil servicing companies, and payments are made. Because I was a serving officer, I was a unit commander in diplomatic protection. I have served in escravos and so many places. So for me to talk, I have evidence. In Nigeria, one policeman is to 800 people. Even then you find out that one businessman, maybe oil marketer, you will see him having 30 policemen. If you invite the IG here, he will not be able to justify why one person who is just dealing in oil will have 30 policemen. There is no way you will be promoting people close to you, whereby so many people are there in the rank. For 10 years, somebody will come and stay in the rank for just 3 months because he's close to you, then you will promote him. It even got worse. Even the IG is openly having 2 relationships with policewomen, which he promoted them openly under this special promotion. They created special promotion to us to get favor from governors or from president, so that if you are there, so that you can pave way for them, so that they will have access to so many things. That is the reason why special promotion was formed. There is nothing like anything called special promotion in the public service.
I think for most of us, the most important issue is how we reform our institutions and how we fight corruption. The basis of all this started on the issue of whether one, there were bribery in the issue of promotion exercises and revenue of police. And these matters, I think, are weighty enough and they must be investigated.
All right, Babajido, what do you make of this? That Senator Misau, he has made all sorts of allegations and accusations, and what do you make of this against the Inspector General of Police?
You know, the first time that Senator Misau raised so much hell about the IG, I said, yes, I know that in the police there's privilege posting, no doubt about it. An IG will not post anyone to Lagos who is not close to him or who is in his good books. The same thing, airports and the rest. We know these things happen. In the various professions, there are this kind of opportunities, you know. People treat colleagues specially based on how close they are and all that. They say we want to deceive ourselves. But when they started talking about the IG receiving 10 billion, receiving this, and he was saying that
120 billion.
Yeah, and yes, 10 billion here, 10 billion, and he was saying, look, he has evidence. I said it at that time that what he said was irresponsible. The amount of money that is attributing to the IG as bribes, I said in fact, that it's irresponsible to come up with such humongous sums of money and say an IG gets paid that every month. And I said, look, bring your file. Let us see your files. Maybe you brought your retirement certificate, or what's it called? The retirement document. He showed it to the world to see. Show us here how Idris, the current IG, has been collecting billions of naira, and let's have those who are giving him that much money. Nobody is saying
10
that.
10 billion naira.
Ayo, before people misunderstand what I'm saying, nobody is saying that a commissioner of police cannot, in an expression of his joy towards his oga, give him something. That's not what we are talking about, though. Look at the sum of money that this young man is saying, over 100 billion for one IG.
What's the total budget of the police?
For one IG. No, it's not even about the budget. That someone who takes all of that money, and you want me to believe. You don't want me to ask questions. You want me to just believe that that's true. The same way that you know that someone is pregnant by 4 months, you conducted the pregnancy test on the woman, you can say with finality that, oh, the IG has impregnated someone, and that person is 4 months pregnant. You mean this thing is becoming ridiculous? We know that the police has to be reformed. We talk about it all the time. We know that the police has to be
We're still on it yesterday.
will be better funded. But to go to the point of saying that an IG gets paid up to 120 billion, we know that can't be true now. there has to be substance in some of what you are saying. But there is no need to go to this extent to exaggerate things. That is my quarrel with Senator Miso. That's my quarrel.
Senator. All right, I'll quickly take this breather, and when we come back, we'll touch on. Welcome back. We are looking at the accusations against the Inspector General of Police. Lekon, what's your contribution? You've seen the allegations leveled against the Inspector General of Police.
Well, I want to look at this administratively. From experience, if you need police security for your private premises or for yourself, you are going to have to write a letter. And there will be a response. As a matter of fact, the Police Act allows these kind of things. Oil companies, banks, and so on, to write to the IG and say, I need police escort. Do you understand? And there is also, in the Police Act, there's also a fund called Police Welfare Fund, into which proceeds of this should be paid.
Okay.
Do you understand? And the purpose of that, as a matter of fact, if a police officer is surcharged for some reasons, that money will be paid. If you and Abajide, if your cars collide on the road and the police comes to do some other things, by the time you are even supposed to pay them, and this money is supposed to be paid to that account, what do you do with the money? The money is supposed to be used to pay the officers that have been posted to you, all this remuneration to start with. 1, 2, extra share award to police officers for whatever reasons, even funeral expenses. I'm trying to say that there should be documentation of these things. If I'm saying Mr. rather than say Senator Guzo, advisedly, if Mr. Guzo, you call his name, or Miso, whatever, is sure of what he's saying, he should provide us with it. You see, the man has license, freedom to speak from prosecution, whatever he says in the National Assembly. He should come out, provide documents, excuse me, provide documents, to the Police Service Commission. Don't forget, the Police Service Commission cleared him and said that, he was honorably discharged. So the Police Service Commission, even I expect him to petition the Police Service Commission, even the Police Council, manned by the President himself. Because this is a huge issue. Because what it means is that the IG is diverting money that belongs to the police force. If that is what he's doing, he should not just be talking in the red chambers. He should actually come out, because whatever he says there, he is covered. He cannot be prosecuted. He should come out of that building and take it to the streets. That's what I expect him to do. Rather than for him to just sit down there and be talking. I'm not saying the IG has stolen money or has not stolen money, but this is the procedure. I expect him, if he's a former police officer and he's a senator of this country, that minimum I expect from him.
It seems there's like a personal antecedent between the IG and Senator.
And then issues of his dating somebody or not. I thought that is a bit out.
That's personal.
Yeah, I thought
that's personal.
And a police.
I think that's a bit. I don't know. I'm not very sure that is his business.
It's a strategy to further draw our attention to the matter. This matter was already dying. Matters don't last long in Nigeria.
Honestly. You should go ask Honorable Jubril.
Even the restructuring is going down gradually. Matters don't last long in Nigeria. Before you know it, people will forget. But his strategy is to try and draw our attention to him by all means. So if you cannot bring in sleazy issues, then he knows that people will not be bothered about
I think the
this
sleaze
matter
is in
anymore.
the 10 billion monthly.
No, even when you say that,
amount.
no, that one, he has said that one in the past. It's not new to people anymore. So now he's bringing in the issue of that the IG is taught that the IG has impregnated different women, this and that. So he thinks that by saying that will attract the attention of many Nigerians, the South Sale and all that. And he's clearly, from all indications, he's not achieving his aim. But just as we said earlier, let him provide proof. I will be interested in seeing the document, because he's someone who boasts about the fact that he has documents and all that. So why is it taking so long for him to provide us proof that this man, in 1 year, the IG takes 120 billion? That would really interest me.
I think that should be more than the state budget.
That would really interest me. Of course, many states. What is? I don't think the budget of Yobe is under 50 billion.
More than the budget of Benin Republic.
What are we talking about?
Sorry.
120 billion is a lot of money. So since he claims that he has proof, let him, the same kind of documents that he presented to the Police Service Commission to be cleared of the allegation of improper discharge from the police. Let him provide us with that. But I know that 120 billion in today's Nigeria, that one person, where will he even keep the money? That one person, and I know,
so lucrative.
let me tell you what Buhari does when Buhari wants to pick people for top appointments. He would tell the security people to go and do due diligence on their bank accounts. So when they've checked their bank accounts, he will be able to see who amongst those people is actually greedy or who has been embezzling money for years. So it will go for the one that appears to be most decent amongst them. That's Buhari style that I'm giving you for free. So I'm sure that that even the IG, before they made him IG, they must have gone to check his accounts. Maybe they didn't find so much money there, but now we are being told by Senator Miso that that same man, 120 billion in 1 year. I mean, so
Chuk is calling us. Thank you for joining us, Chuks.
Thank you so much, Ayo.
All right, go ahead. Sir.
Good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Jide. You journalists are the problems we have.
Tell us how.
If you listen to CNN, you think not correct. But I tell you, North Korea might be better than Nigeria. In 2000, in the early election, people said the president wasn't a nice person. He was a fanatic, blah, blah, blah. With 2015, he became a saint. And that is how we voted for him. The truth is that things have not changed in Nigeria. It's a pity. I'm suffering it. All of us, we are suffering it. Nothing has changed. This is staying.
But why you can't blame us now?
Hello, Chuks. Hello, Chuks.
Then only journalists in Nigeria.
Hello, Chuks.
We are not the problems of our country. We are just doing our bit. Some of the most patriotic Nigerians that you ever find, Chuks, are journalists. We know how we fought to ensure that that term did not work. So that same spirit,
the military left.
That same spirit, yes, the same way we chased the military away. That same spirit, and some of us paid with our lives. I lost my friend Bagadaka too. You know, so that same spirit is still in Nigerian journalism. Don't just put a blanket
statement like that.
I think
that we are the problem. No. If things are not working in Nigeria,
we say
it is the responsibility of everyone to play his part so that Nigeria gets on the right path. Not that you just keep all the blame on journalists.
Should not
so we should not talk, we should not analyze politicians. Journalists didn't say vote for anybody. We didn't say, people made their own choices at the end of the day. We didn't say vote for...
I think your final take on this, gentlemen, starting from Lake Shote.
Well, let's send it to Mr. Mizo.
He's a distinguished senator.
Excuse me, Ayo. Let him end that senatorship.
Yes, okay. By coming out
openly and providing the proof to Police Service Commission and the Police Council chairman by the president. Because what he's talking about is national security. It's very serious.
Grievous allegations.
When you talk about national security frivolously like that, as my people will say, get us away. But I think I align with his position that he should come up with his evidence. Then that would be a better thing to do instead of just going on air to mess up everybody.
Senator Miso, I'm also aligned.
I like the way you're pronouncing this. That's the right pronunciation, Miso.
You know, this place is not far from Jamari in Bauchi State. We also we want you to provide the proof. Some of us think you do not have the proof for what you are saying. We want you to put us to shame by presenting proof that the IG has received 120 billion in 1 year. If you do
Name
that,
those who are paying.
and you provide the list of those
We will be
paying,
back
if
on
you
this
do that,
program.
Yes.
you have become my hero.
That's right.
You have become, he's calling you Mr. Me, I will call you double senator. If you cannot
Distinguished
provide that.
Senator Misu. And that's offering this today on Journalist Hangout. I want to thank you, Lekon Shote. Thank you, Wale Adedayo and Babajide Kolade Utitoju. Join us for the repeat broadcast of this particular edition this evening by 11 p.m. on DSTV 418, GoTV 45, and all our other platforms as displayed on the screen now. So you can also watch us on youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubapu. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.